It's the one screen to rule them all. Ah. So, K-Touch. Let's talk about it. Now, what is the K-Touch? Well, it's a screen. It's a screen. Well, it's an ESP32 and a screen. And what it does is it connects to my Wi-Fi. So there's no wires. There's a small battery in it. And this lets me control all of my Clipper printers. And most of these are, actually all of them except one, are Clipper. So with this one, I can easily select the printer and use this as my interface. Now, most of us don't use screens, at least to my knowledge. Most of us don't use screens on our printers with Clipper, just because we're using our laptop or PC, phones, whatever. It's kind of a good thing about Clipper. The bad thing about that is that I'm in a workshop, so my computer is way over there, and I often leave my phone at the door, just because I don't want the distraction. And this solves everything. So Bigtreetech did send this to me to make this video. So thank you. And it did inspire me to build the entire rack that you see, because this was my initial plan for the workshop, is to have all my printers at one spot so that I can use one screen. My first plan was to have a dedicated Pi with a HDMI screen attached to it. But this is so much easier and so much cheaper. So for this video, I thought I would go through what you get and how to set it up, and then we'll talk about it some more at the end. Alright, so let's look at what comes in the box. Or let's start with the box. So, resolution 800 by 480, 5-inch display, IPS. Yeah, it's only 2.4 Wi-Fi. Shouldn't be a big issue, but for some people that might be annoying, but I'm okay. And it's only half an amp of 5 volts, so just about any USB output can easily run this. Alright, so in the box comes with a little thank you note. It's the user manual. To be fair, you won't need this. And the actual screen itself, I've opened this already, so blame me. So that is the screen itself and the magnetic base. Comes with a little sticker. And then a small box of accessories. So let's have a look. We do, of course, have the little duck. A generic mount. And a Allen key. Some screws to fit the little mount here. And a USB cable. So let's have a look at this thing. Now the actual unit itself. So let's put the base away for now. The unit itself is quite a small thing. It's not that much to it. It's a small box. It has a USB input on the side for a USB thumb drive, so that you can print from a thumb drive. It has a power switch and an I2C port, and this is meant for a future upgrade for a temperature and humidity sensor to go in. So that's not enabled in the firmware yet, but it's a future update. So let's turn it on. And there it is. That's on. It's ready to print. I can home the printer, and I have my general settings. So let's reset this, and then I'll set it up, and then I'll go through all the menus. All right. So I've reset the device, and I also connected it to a USB-C cable, just so that I don't run out of battery while I'm doing the setup. The battery's life is said to be around 20 to 30 minutes, and I do find that seems correct in some general use. Now let's turn it on. It's this little dip switch in the back here, and it gives us a little bonjour, hola, and yeah, dobre. English. You could of course set it to Chinese. I don't read Chinese yet, so English. I'll hit next, and then I'll connect it to my Wi-Fi, and I'll import my password. And next. So the IP right here, you can use that to update the firmware. That's just about the only use of that IP address right there. So I'll press next, and then we'll add a printer, and by default you should be using port 80. That is defined in mains, no, not mains, so that is defined in Moonraker. So we'll update that. And after about a minute, this shows up, and it displays all of my printers. So right now I have 3 printers that are on, and they all show up here. So I'm just going to add all of them, and then hit OK. Now I can go in and long press and then put in a name. So I'll name this. This is my Rook. And for some reason the spacebar is in another menu. And I'll set it to MK2. Okay, so the other 2, I'm not sure which one is which, but I'll look into that and then update later. So next is to connect to a printer. So let's start with my Rook MK2 and connect. So it says, so now it says that I'm connected. It's displaying the IP. And next. And now I'm in my Rook Mark II. So I have my normal kind of general settings. So I can home, I can extrude and retract. There's a setting for moving distance and how much filament. And then I have the option to do leveling and disable steppers. There's also a Z offset setting here. I can, if I want to, go in and turn on my extruder. So let's set that to 200, or I can just use one of these presets, and that'll start the heater. And yeah. So function-wise, it's just what it needs to be. If I hit start print, it'll load the STLs from my printer. So everything that's on the printer, or the Pi on the printer, will be loaded. So this takes a while the first time, and then second and third time it'll just all update quickly. So depending on how many files you have on your printer, this might take a while. And there you go. So I can start a print from here, and yeah. So I'm not gonna start a print right now, but that's okay. I also have the fan set up, so I can turn on and off fans. So let's first disable this hot end, and I can go into this is my part cooling fan. So on this it's a CPAP. You'll probably hear that in the background. So yeah, I have general control of the printer here. And that's about it. It's that simple to set up and use. It's quite intuitive. There is a menu to select a different printer. And yeah, so this is my Rook Mark 1 LDO kit, because I can see the M4P right there. And then the last one is my switch wire. So yeah, that's about it for the setup and how to use this. It's really simple. There's a menu to select other Wi-Fi's. If you're moving between places, you can set your brightness. This will of course increase the battery life. Set your screen timeout to different times. I would probably set this to 2 minutes to save battery if I need it to. And I have the option to select different colors for the menu. I think this should have like an RGB thing, so you can set up the colors that you like. So this is running the V1 firmware, and to update the firmware, all you need to do is go to the IP of the device, and you can set up the firmware from there. So that's it about the screen itself, and I want to give some of my feedback. The actual screen, function-wise, it's pretty much there. It's lacking some functions, but what is on here, it all works. I can't find any bugs. I've been messing with it for a couple of days, and it just works. There's nothing that doesn't work right now. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. It does lack some features. Number one is being able to have your macros that you set up in Mainsail or Fluid or whatever interface you have. But to have those available on here should be a minimum, just because you spend a lot of time making sure that those macros work. Personally, I use a lot of macros, just because it saves me having to type into the console. That's another thing. There's no console here. That should be a small little feature that they could add, so that you have the option to use a console at some point. I mean, it's not a big thing, and you probably wouldn't type in large amounts of text, but to be able to see what's going on, if you have an error or something, just to be able to see it, it should be there. I briefly mentioned the menus. Instead of just blue and red, you should have an RGB selector. I believe that's a minimum thing to do. And probably it would be a good thing to have access to your camera. It's not a huge deal for me because this is right next to all of my printers, but you might have different printers in different rooms. You might also use this as kind of a remote console. So you might have this next to your desktop or your work bench, and being able to just control it or just look at your printers and see that it's okay. The fact that it's run on battery is great, but it should automatically switch between charging and using the battery. Right now it's in battery mode and it won't take a charge. So even though this has power, if I put it on, it doesn't charge. So yeah, that should be a feature. You shouldn't have to start it to go into the USB mode. So it should be on and off, and then the battery should just automatically switch by itself. And I do know that this is firmware 1, it's the first one that they've made. So all of this are probably going to arrive at some point. I did briefly look at the GitHub and they have a list already of things they want to implement. I'm going to look at that and maybe add some of my points in there. So yeah, this is a great product. It gives you a screen for all of your printers. You don't have to have one on each, so it saves you a lot of money, and it's super convenient to just being able to switch between printers, and then doing simple controls like you need to home, you need to change filament. You can do all of that right here. So do I recommend this? Absolutely, I do. So quick disclaimer at the end, Bigtreetech did send this to me to make this video. I have not been paid other than being able to keep this. And yeah, these are all of my opinions. So thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, then please dislike, and maybe give me a comment. Do you like this? Do you don't like it? What are your plans for one of these? So I'll see you in the next one. I'm gonna go disappear now.